The first thing I did after being reborn was pull the little snake from my pocket. In front of my teacher and classmates, I ran straight to the prom queen. Her jaw dropped in shock. Before she could react, I shoved it into her open mouth and forced her to swallow it whole. Everyone thought I had lost my mind, but what they didn't know was that in less than a minute, every living creature on Earth would mutate. All humans would awaken supernatural talents based on whatever they ate before the change. In my past life, right before the catastrophe, I ate a lamb dumpling, so I awakened the wool-growing talent. At first using spirit energy in harsh weather to produce wool was somewhat useful, but as the mutated monsters grew stronger, I became nothing more than a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Now reborn into this life, I came fully prepared. In my past life I saw a hound with godlike power. It was just an old mutt from the antique shop downtown that had mutated. Through curiosity and chance, I learned from the shop owner that while protecting him, the dog accidentally swallowed a jade stone. After being reborn, my first move was to find that antique shop. I scraped together every penny to buy that jade. As for why I forced Jenny to swallow her pet snake alive, it's because she secretly loves me. When the catastrophe hit last time, Jenny never abandoned me. She awakened a frost talent strong enough to survive. She could have thrived in that post-apocalyptic hell on her own, yet she stayed by my side, protecting me and my useless talent. In the end I dragged her down, and we both died together. Now that I'm reborn, I have to help her awaken something stronger. In my past life her pet snake mutated into a flood dragon. If it hadn't lost to that guard dog at the antique shop, it likely would have evolved into a true celestial dragon. The reason it had to be swallowed alive is something humanity learned the hard way. Raw consumption gives the strongest talents. If my dragon jade could be cut by human hands, I would have split it with Jenny. Even a lesser flood dragon is far stronger than the frost talent she had before. Faced with my insistence, Jenny looked conflicted. On one hand the boy she loved for years, on the other her beloved pet. She was torn inside. Seeing how determined I was, Jenny made her choice. She whispered, "I'm sorry. Little one, I'd do anything for him." Watching Jenny go along with my madness, the whole class was struck speechless. They could only gasp in disbelief. They felt like they were losing their minds. Jenny rushed to the water cooler, chugging cup after cup, then leaned against the wall dry heaving. Only then did the class snap out of it, shouting, "Jenny, you actually did it. Jenny, have you lost it? He told you to eat it and you did. I must be dreaming. Why am I seeing something this insane? Oh my God, that was her precious baby. She loved that exotic pet. What does this psycho have that we don't?" The teacher still hadn't recovered from the shock, crying out, "You can't eat that thing alive. A live creature will tear up your stomach." He couldn't comprehend what kids do these days. Amid the chaos, I walked over to Jenny. Right now, her angelic face had gone deathly pale. Strands of hair clung to her forehead damp with sweat from the pain. She looked fragile and pitiful, my face equally pale. I fought through the pain in my gut and pulled her into my arms. Jenny let out a pained moan, smiled weakly, and wrapped her arms around me. I gently touched her ashen face. Blood trickled from the corner of her mouth as she spoke. The sight terrified the teacher, who frantically dialed 911. Meanwhile Jason, the guy in class, who had been chasing Jenny for years, felt his head buzzing with rage. Fury nearly blacked out his vision. Tall and built, from years of training, with muscles to show for it, he stormed toward me with heavy steps, roaring, "Chingjia, you bastard, you knew she loved you, and you made her eat a snake." His voice boomed like thunder, making the whole class flinch. I didn't even glance at Jason, just held Jenny as she grew weaker, and checked my phone, watching the time on the screen. Jason shoved through the crowd, charging straight at me. I held Jenny close, counting down in my head. Seeing him coming, I didn't move an inch. Jason leaped over desks, his massive frame about to reach me. Several people held their breath as the clock struck 10. Outside the window, a burst of energy exploded with blinding light. The flash was so intense no one could keep their eyes open. It lasted only a moment, then faded. Jason, who was charging at me, was blinded by the flash, and crashed hard to the floor. After the flash, an invisible electromagnetic storm would sweep across the entire solar system in seconds. Everyone instinctively looked out the window. The anomaly began. The bright sky shifted from day to night in mere heartbeats. Blood-red light poured down from the heavens. The solar storm disrupted the magnetic field, turning the sky an unnatural color. Right as this phenomenon erupted, Jenny in my arms let out a blood-curdling scream. Everyone looked over. Jenny, who had swallowed the snake, her pale face now showed something bizarre. She had completely transformed. A pair of dragon horns sprouted from her head, crackling with silver arcs. Pale blue scales dotted her delicate cheeks, giving her an exotic allure. A small dragon wreathed in mist coiled above her. Blue-white lightning crackled endlessly, able to unleash devastating thunder, especially effective against ghosts and demons. The perceptive Jenny began to understand why I made her swallow the snake. It was all for her, already devoted to me. She wouldn't let anyone challenge me. She stepped in front of me and simply raised her palm, effortlessly blocking Jason's massive fist. His punch did nothing. The moment it struck her palm, the divine thunder coating her jade armor seared through his hand, burning his flesh. Jason screamed in agony, clutching his charred hand, smoke rising from his blackened skin. Fighting the searing pain, he scrambled desperately for water. The scales on Jenny's face and feet slowly faded beneath her skin. The horns retracted quickly, returning her to normal. Even Jenny was startled by her own power. She hurried back to my side, looking at me expectantly for praise. I looked no different. than before. But Jenny could clearly sense that standing near me made her soul tremble. It was the primal fear of prey facing a predator, encoded deep in her genes. She had a guess. It matched what I told her earlier, that I had already swallowed something. Jenny didn't know what it was, but this urge to submit body and soul only deepened her love for me. She didn't know how I knew everything about the mutation, but she understood. I would never hurt her. Her power now came from me.